Boys and girls, yesterday during our writer's workshop, we started to take a look at two texts, and we started to talk about how not only do they determine, when they're asking you a question for the FSA writing, they determine the type of essay that you're going to write, either an opinion persuasive or an informative explanatory essay, but they may also tell you or ask you to write that essay in a certain text structure. And the essay that we're beginning to work on now during our class is a compare and contrast essay, comparing adding food flavoring in the past, historically when it first began, and to how it is done now. Okay, now in order to think and analyze that text, we really kind of have to wrap our brain around the idea of looking for things that are similar yet different in items. And so today what I wanted to do with you is I wanted to bring you through an exercise and give you some practice in identifying ways in which two items that belong in the same category can be similar yet different. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and put my date up at the corner here, but I want to create a Venn diagram. So I'm going to actually turn my paper this way because I want a little bit more room. Remember, a Venn diagram are two large circles that overlap in the middle. And where they overlap, that's where we place the things that, or the ways that these two things are similar, and then the differences are in the other circles. So today we're going to, during our mini lesson, we're going to talk about comparing and contrasting oranges and apples. And like I said, this type of thinking hopefully is going to help us as we look at the text set and we try to determine how historically flavoring food in the past is similar to flavoring food today, yet it's still different. All right, so when I think about apples and oranges, and I'm comparing and contrasting them, I know that they are both fruits, and they are both fruits that have skin or a rind on the outside. They have a covering. But if you can imagine an apple in your mind and an orange in your mind, you're going to notice that they're different. Even though they both have skin, that skin is different. An orange's skin is thick, while an apple's skin is thin. Now notice that I put thick, and I didn't put not thick. All right, I put thick and thin. The other thing I know about the skin of an apple and an orange and how the skin is different is that you usually eat the skin of an apple. Some people do peel them, but you can eat the skin. Now, we don't usually or typically eat the skin or the rind on an orange, but we might zest it. Does anybody know what it means to zest an orange?
You take like a grater and you rub the skin of an orange against it.
Yes. And they actually have, if you've ever grated cheese, it's something similar to that. It's a little bit smaller. And you can grate the outside of the orange and take all that hard rind off. It'll break it up into little pieces, and if you add it to food, it will give food flavor. So you can use it to flavor food, but you typically don't eat it. So now we're thinking about these two pieces of fruit. We know they both have a skin and a rind, and we know that the skin is different. The skin of an orange is thick. The skin of an apple is thin. The skin of an orange doesn't get eaten, but it does get zested to flavor food. The skin of an apple typically gets eaten. Okay? I can also think about the color of the skin. Okay? The color of the skin of an orange is usually a shade of orange. And then when I think about an apple, the color might be red. It might be golden or yellow. It might be green. Okay, so pay attention to what I just did. I'm looking and comparing and contrasting these two fruits. I know that they're similar because they both have skin or rind, but the skin or the rind is different. The orange's skin is thick, the apple's skin is thin. The orange's skin, we can zest it to flavor food, but we typically eat the apple's skin. Color of the skin or rind of an orange is typically a shade of orange. But apples can be in all different colors. The skin of an apple can be in many different colors. It could be a red apple, a golden apple, a green apple, a red and golden apple. Okay, the colors can come in, there are a variety of colors. Okay, so now what I want you to do with a partner, remember a partnership is two people, and what do we do if we don't have a partner to turn and talk to Nick? What do we do?
Stand up.
We stand up and we look around to see if there's somebody that we can talk to. With your partner right now, what I'd like you to do, Caden and Braden, I would like you to come up with another way that oranges and apples are similar. Do just what I did here. Put the similarity in here and then come up with 3 ways that they are different, even though they're similar in that. Okay? Go ahead and turn and talk.
Okay. So after roll
Wait. Where'd you know from?
Hey, don't cover. Just write down. You're done with this. Oranges have
I just don't know what you like. What have we been doing for 10 minutes?
That's what I told her. It's been 10 minutes already. Okay, and I'm going You're supposed to stand up.
Okay, guys, let's go ahead and share. Blake, give me something that you and Ahmed found was a similarity between apples and oranges. How are they similar? Okay, so it can be juiced. It can become juice. So do you have 3 ways that the way it can become juiced are different? Okay, but I understand what you're saying, okay? One of the tests that we have to kind of make when we're finding similarities, one of the tests we kind of have to make before we go ahead with it is we have to ask ourselves, are there 3 ways in which they're different? Gabby and I were working during this turn and talk, and she came up with the idea, well, they're both eaten, okay? They're both eaten. They are food, right? So we eat both of them. And so I said, okay, well, so how is the way that we eat them differently? And she was able to come up with one way that they are eaten differently, which is you peel an orange, break it apart, and eat it, whereas you just take an apple and you bite into it, okay? But we really couldn't come up with any other ways that they are different, so we kind of moved on to a different way, okay? Is there anybody in here who was able to, with their partner, come up with a way that these 2 fruits are similar and then have 3 ways that similarity are different? Nicholas?
Okay. We did in the similar. We did. Oh wait, never mind.
Never mind, you don't want to share?
No, I mean never mind. I thought you were saying something else.
Emma, did you have did the 2 of you come up with a way that they're similar?
You said they are used to make juice and they have seeds.
Okay, so I want you to be careful because I'm asking you to use a Venn diagram in a different way than you're used to using it. I'm not asking you to just list. Remember what we did here. Just look at what we did here. We said the skin or the rind is a similarity. Then we came up with 3 ways in which the skin or the rind is different. We're not listing all of the similarities and then all of the differences. We have to ramp up the way that we're using this Venn diagram. I could do the same thing using a T-chart, a 3-column note chart. I'm just choosing to use a Venn diagram. Okay, so let's though, Emma, grab onto the second thing that you said, because we already kind of talked about the juicing thing. Let's talk about seeds. They both have seeds. That's a similarity that they are. How are the seeds in apples and oranges different? Ellie?
The apple seeds are more like blackish brownish.
Okay.
And then the orange ones are more tannish.
Like they're kind of a shade of white. Yeah. Okay. So that's one way that they're different. The color is different. So we have kind of a whitish seed and then we have a black brown type of seed. So they both have seeds, but the color of the seeds are different. Okay? Carly?
Orange seeds are found in each orange slice, and apple seeds are found in the middle.
Okay, so when you think about an orange seed, the orange seeds are kind of floating in the sections, right? So we could say that they float in the sections. And if you think about and visualize apple seeds, you know that there's kind of like a cavity or a hole, right, that contains those seeds in the middle. If you happen to bite and you break open that cavity, sometimes the seeds will fall out, okay? So the seeds of an apple are in the middle. In a cavity or hole. Whoops, that's the wrong hole. H-O-L-E. Okay. So there's like an opening that's encased, and even it's a little bit hard, that contains the seeds of an apple. How else are the seeds of an apple and an orange different?
The seeds of an apple are a little smaller than the seeds in an orange.
Okay, so if we think about size, we have smaller seeds in an apple, we have larger seeds in an orange. Okay, so if I was writing an explanatory essay in which I pointed out the similarities and the differences between apples and oranges, I could say both apples and oranges have seeds. However, the seeds in an orange are larger than the seeds in an apple. In addition, the seeds in an orange are whitish in color, while the seeds in an apple are black or brownish. Also, the seeds in an orange float within each of the sections of the orange, while the seeds in an apple are contained in a cavity in the middle of the apple. All right, can everybody see how I've done that? I'm comparing, even though it's a similarity, I'm comparing and contrasting it. Okay, so during our work time today, this is what you're going to do. On the table in the middle of the room, I have envelopes. Each of the envelopes has a category on it. Okay, this one right here says music. And so it has music in there, and inside of that envelope are two different types of music that you are going to do the same thing that I just did with apples and oranges. You can create a Venn diagram like I did, or you may choose a different organizer like a T-chart or 3-column notes. Now, here's the twist, okay? You're going to be working with a partner, but you're going to only choose the category without looking inside of the envelope to see what is inside. Once you choose your category and you bring it back to work with your partner, you cannot switch it out. Okay? You cannot switch it out. You cannot decide that you don't want to do it. Once you look at what's inside the envelope, you have to stick with it. Questions?
What if you don't open it?
Well, you won't have selected it yet. Okay, Aurora?
Like I have one more similar.
Well, we need to get to our activity. We need to get to our independent work. Okay, we need to get right to that independent work. Any other questions? Yes.
So what if you choose one, but then you don't know a single thing about what you choose?
Then you're going to get a computer and you're going to do some research. But I will tell you that our work period is only 25 minutes long, because I do want to have a closing meeting to share. Okay, so and one computer per partnership. Remember, guys, a partnership is two people. You do not have to use the same partner that you use. Stop for a second and freeze. Stop for a second and freeze, please. We need to be polite. And because we're such a large group, only one member of the partnership may come to the table to choose. Listen carefully. You may bring the envelope back. Do not open it. Show the category. You're not listening. Show the category to your partner, and if your partner agrees, then open it. Once you open it, even if your partner doesn't agree, you are stuck with that. Guys, I would like to reuse these, so please treat them nicely. All right, go ahead.